South Africa is once again on the edge of political upheaval as the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, have sounded a thunderous warning to President Cyril Ramaphosa and his administration to release the investigation results or face a nationwide revolt. The fiery red berets are demanding full transparency and public disclosure of findings from a long-delayed corruption probe that has reportedly implicated several high-ranking officials within government circles. The investigation, rumored to involve large-scale mismanagement of state funds and questionable business deals linked to key ANC allies, has been sitting on the president's desk for weeks without any public update. Now, the EFF, led by its uncompromising Commander-in-Chief Julius Malema, has drawn a bold line in the sand, accusing the presidency of deliberately concealing damning information from the South African people. At a packed press briefing held at the party's headquarters in Braamfontein, Malema did not mince his words. South Africans deserve the truth. This government cannot keep pretending to fight corruption while hiding the evidence of its own crimes. We will not sit quietly while they play games with accountability. If Ramaphosa refuses to release those findings, the streets will speak, and they will speak loudly. The EFF's call for mass action comes at a time when public trust in state institutions is already hanging by a thread. Citizens have grown increasingly disillusioned with slow investigations, political favoritism, and the perceived lack of consequences for those in power. For many, the EFF stance resonates as a necessary act of defiance against a system that often shields its own while the poor continue to suffer. According to insiders, the probe in question involves irregular contracts awarded during the pandemic response and the misuse of public funds within state-owned enterprises. However, the presidency has remained tight-lipped, saying only that the report is under review and that releasing it prematurely could compromise sensitive details. This statement, rather than calming the storm, has only intensified the public's frustration. Political analysts suggest that the EFF's latest move is both strategic and symbolic. By taking an aggressive public stand, the party positions itself once again as the uncompromising voice of the people, the force willing to challenge what it calls ANC's culture of secrecy and corruption. Malema understands the power of timing, said political analyst Nomvula Dlamini. The country is restless. Load shedding, unemployment, and corruption have eroded faith in the ruling party. By calling for protests over transparency, the EFF taps into that anger. It's a direct challenge to the moral legitimacy of Ramaphosa's leadership. Already, EFF regional structures in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal, Limpopo, and the Eastern Cape have reportedly begun preparations for potential demonstrations. Mobilization messages and directives have been circulating across the party's networks, urging supporters to be ready for the biggest people's protest since 2016. In a passionate statement shared on X, formerly Twitter, EFF Deputy President Floyd Shivambu wrote, "We cannot allow a government of thieves to operate behind closed doors. Every South African must demand to see the truth. If they are innocent, they have nothing to hide." Government spokesperson Vincent Magwenya has since urged calm, describing the EFF's threats as irresponsible and inflammatory. He added that the administration remains committed to accountability but must follow due legal processes before any findings are made public. Yet for millions of South Africans, such reassurances ring hollow after years of seeing high-profile corruption cases fade into silence. As tension builds, civic groups and unions have begun weighing in, with some expressing solidarity with the EFF's demand for transparency, though distancing themselves from potential violent unrest. Transparency is a cornerstone of democracy, noted the South African Council of Churches in a statement. The people must not be kept in the dark about issues that affect the nation's moral and financial integrity. The coming weeks could prove pivotal. If Ramaphosa fails to act swiftly, the EFF's threat could materialize into a massive, coordinated nationwide protest, one that may test the government's ability to manage dissent in a climate of growing public anger and distrust. For now, all eyes are on the union buildings. The question remains, will the president release the full truth, or will the EFF's fiery call, "Stop covering up," ignite the next great wave of political resistance in South Africa?